Dr. Chukwu here. All week I've been thinking about what is it that I could talk about or share this week that would be absolutely substantive and help somebody else out in their life. And as I've thought about this, I've thought about in my own life, what is it that I need? What is it that I could be doing to improve my life and make myself a better person? And as I have thought about this, my mind has gone back to an experience that I had when I was a resident. I was at a hospital called Mount Clemens Hospital in Michigan. And I just finished my afternoon shift and I was heading home. Typically, I would get to the physician lounge, grab a bite to eat before heading on home. This time around, as I'm going downstairs, something caught my eye and I noticed the stairwell landing going down. There were inscriptions. These were inscriptions that were written by residents or fellows or interns that had trained in this hospital. And, inscriptions would say something like, so-and-so was here, what year or years they were there. The other thing that caught my eye is this. Either wall supporting this landing was recently and freshly painted, but this landing was left unpainted, almost as if it was done intentionally to allow people's eyes to be caught by these inscriptions. As I looked at all these inscriptions, I thought to myself, who are these people? Where are they now? And how was their life transformed by the experiences they had in this hospital? I thought to myself, if they could come back and tell a story, what would be their voice of warning, admonition, and things that they learned that could absolutely help other people and improve the lives and the experience of the interns and the fellows and the residents in this hospital? As I've thought about that experience since, I've thought to myself, our life is no different. You see, I think that regardless of how difficult or challenging or turmoil-filled or even blessed your life might be, all of us have a story to tell. Our lives have a story to tell. The reality of it is that life is not perfect. Our lives will never be perfect. Regardless of how hard we try, none of us will ever have every aspect of our life honed down or absolutely perfected. I mean, that's just life. It's not meant to be disconcerting. That's just life. But I believe that the subtle differences, the experiences we have in our life, is what adds variety to life. All of us have something to bring to the table. All of us have something to share. And our stories can be absolutely transformational. Not even the gurus out there have it perfectly honed down. Not even the therapist who helps people mend certain broken pieces of their life. I guarantee you that that therapist has at least one aspect of their life that is in disrepair. And if left unattended, that therapist will need a professional to help them pull out the figurative thorn in the flesh, or at least help them deal with the issue at hand. So regardless of how imperfect our lives may seem, none of us is perfect. But regardless of that, our stories, regardless of how insignificant you may think it is, has an absolutely beautiful story to tell. And that story can absolutely bless the life of others. Now, there's a Bible verse that says that, let your light so shine before men that they may see your good work. I believe that part of that good work that's done is the transformation that can come to the life of others by hearing your story, learning from your story, applying the principles and the lessons learned from your own life into their own life to improve their life. Here's an interesting thing. There's been a lot of things going on recently about suicide and depression and anxiety. Did you know that there are, according to the 2020 USA statistics, there are about 120 deaths that happen every day by suicide in this country, the United States? 125 deaths by suicide every day. For every 25 attempts, one death by suicide occurs in the United States. For every 25 attempts, one death occurs by suicide. One male death for every almost 15 minutes in the United States occurs. One male death every 15 minutes. And one female death every roughly 55 minutes in this country. Those are blood-curdling, bone-chilling statistics. And that becomes complicated by the issues of depression and anxiety and the things that happen in the lives of people. Life is so freaking complicated. Life is tough. And I believe that the stories that we tell, our life stories, can be absolutely transformational in helping people deal with their evils, with their challenges, with their difficulties. Our stories literally, our stories literally can save lives. Um, you know, in conclusion, I didn't want to make this video a long one, but in conclusion, I want you to listen to me carefully, please. Regardless of how insignificant you think your life is, your life has a story to tell. And there's ways we can tell the story. We can tell our story by word of mouth, by talking about it like I'm talking about it. Regardless of what we think other people might think, regardless of how people might judge us, your life has a story to tell. The other way we can tell our story is by what we do. They say actions speak louder than words. And so the way we live our lives, what we do with our life, tells a story. The way you smile at somebody, the way you compliment somebody, the way you put your hand on someone's shoulder, the way you give your hug, the way you greet somebody in the morning, the way you look at somebody, all of these things tell a story. And I tell you that there are so many people out there who are struggling. There's so many people out there who are literally laying down their lives and they're giving up, throwing their hands up in the air. But your story, regardless of how insignificant, regardless of how faulted you think your life is, your story, the thing you've learned from your own life, could absolutely transform someone's life. And not just that, your story can absolutely save a life. So please go out there and tell your story, and do so unapologetically.